Financial independence, retire early. Number 44. Take four. We're rolling. All right, let's do this. Uh, like I promised, we'll be talking about BRICS, the continuation of BRICS, more specifically, the adding of more countries to the BRICS bloc. I don't know if they're going to still call it BRICS. I don't know. We'll see about that. But with that said, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. What I am is an investor and an entrepreneur. And I think, as a South African, as a young South African, I am in a very unique position to actually find out what BRICS means to the world and specifically what BRICS means to me and the specific opportunities that may exist to me as a South African, because of the BRICS alignment. Even if it means, cheaper trips to Argentina, even if it means cheaper trips to China. Yeah, I'm looking forward to traveling, and seeing the world. And if BRICS is going to offer me cheap visas, cheap passports, then I'm all for it. Right, so BRICS, but more specifically the adding of BRICS. Right, let's come. No, yeah, start with Argentina. Right? Why I think certain countries were added to BRICS. What value I believe they bring to BRICS economically and geopolitically, and so on and so forth. Right, starting right from the top. Argentina. Why I think Argentina was added to BRICS. BRICS is a bloc that was trying to create space for the developing world, right? So I think Argentina is in a unique position, much like Zimbabwe is, much like Turkey, Lebanon, Venezuela. There's a lot going on as it relates to the hyperinflation situation happening in these countries. And Argentina is in a unique position where they are undergoing hyperinflation, much like Zimbabwe, is where their currency is drastically devalued, and that is ultimately destroying the economy of Argentina. And Argentina is a huge economy, huge landmass. And I believe that the BRICS developing bank, the BRICS bloc specifically, feels like they can create space for a struggling developing country like Argentina. But more than that, I think specifically China feels like they're in a unique position because of the hyperinflation that is happening in Argentina to push the Chinese yuan as an alternative currency for Argentina. So I think there's an experiment that might be happening in Argentina. Much like Zimbabwe uses the American dollar, much like Turkey's moving into Bitcoin and the American dollar. So a lot of countries, when they go hyperinflation, when they undergo a hyperinflation, what they do is they revert to the global currency. We know that the American dollar is a global currency. Everything you buy and sell globally is most likely priced in American dollars. So you need American dollars to buy and sell globally, especially if the economy of your country is failing. So I think China is seeing a unique opportunity to experiment with Argentina and push the Chinese yuan into Argentina. I could be wrong. Like I said, this is not advice. This is me, my attempt at understanding what is happening in the world and how it relates to me and things like that. So I think, yeah, Argentina specifically because they are a struggling economy, and BRICS is to provide opportunities to struggling economies, one. But two, China might be trying to just push the Chinese one into Argentina because Argentina has high up inflation, so their currency is almost non-existent, which, begs the question, why didn't they pick Venezuela? you know, but we'll see about that. Next, I'm gonna go with Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the two African countries that are added into the BRICS bloc, and I think Ethiopia is, to me, the only logical. Ethiopia makes perfect sense, right? Ethiopia is a developing country, one of the fastest growing economies on the African continent. We know that BRICS was formed by growing economies, right? Russia, India, China, and Brazil were at that time some of the fastest growing economies in the world. And I think India still is, China to some extent might still be. So Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, has one of the largest land masses, arable land, largest population in numbers. So I think Ethiopia is a perfect candidate for BRICS. It makes perfect sense. We know that Ethiopian Airlines is one of the best airlines on the continent, but yet, Ethiopia as a country still has a lot of growing to do. So there's a chance where we see what's working and we can see what's not working, and how do we make the things that are not working work. And if you're South African, you know that your entire informal economy has been overrun by Ethiopians. Overrun might be the bad word, but taken over. That's even a bad, worse word. But your entire informal economy is run by Ethiopians. That should say something. There's a lot of grit. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of strategy going on with Ethiopians. So I think the Ethiopian diaspora, maybe if you're in America Canada too. There's probably a strong entrepreneurial spirit in the Ethiopians in your country, the migrants, first, second, third generation Ethiopian migrants. So there is some things that are working, and that strong diaspora can add to the growth of Ethiopia. So with the assistance of the BRICS bloc, I think Ethiopia is probably the next big African superpower, economy-wise. So I believe Ethiopia is a perfect match. But also, if you know anything about China and the Belt and Road Initiative, you know that Ethiopia is a strategic country at the eastern tip and the eastern border of the continent, where they can now feed into all of the Central African countries, right? So all of the Central African countries that have no ocean border are fed probably via Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is strategic for the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, the new Silk Road, as they call it. More so than that, we know that Eritrea, which is I think the only, uh, like Ethiopia is the only border that Eritrea has apart from the ocean, right? And Eritrea has an American military base, much like Botswana has too. Um, yeah, why you have imperialists in your bases? Me, I don't know, but. I say that to say that then Ethiopia also, if Ethiopia is within the BRICS bloc, then Russia, China, and all the anti-imperialist people within the BRICS bloc and so forth have the opportunity to block America from having a military base in Ethiopia. So I think that it is a wonderful strategy, in my opinion. South Africa needs that too. All of Africa needs that too. Definitely China and Russia for the Silk Road, but more so to avoid like an incursion into Ethiopia by Eritrea of American military forces. So I think yes, as it fits the BRIC blocks perfect. And again, the BRICS is not necessarily anti-American, but provides an alternative to America. So of course I'm going to say that we're moving away from America, and it might sound like we're anti-American, and we're not. We're just saying we're providing an alternative to the American-led Western, NATO, G7, WEF, IMF, World Bank, domination of the world, right? So I will speak about these countries as if we're moving against them, or not moving against them. We're just kind of moving away from them and creating alternatives. So Ethiopia is a perfect candidate, followed by Egypt. You know, yeah, cool. I get it, but also I get it, because all the other like 4 out of 6 of these countries are Arab, right? So only Argentina and Ethiopia are not Arabic, if I'm not mistaken. Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are all Arab countries. So it makes sense. I think geopolitically for me, I like that it'll provide a platform for Ethiopia and um, Egypt to talk, because there's a lot of feud over the Nile River and the Great Renaissance Dam that Ethiopia is building. I think Egypt is really angry about that and probably trying to sabotage it. So just like if you know anything, you know that India and China have had about 6 military battles at their border in the past like couple of years. Where people have died. So there's active military antagonizing against India and China at their borders, right? And there's probably also an attempt at trying to destroy the Renaissance Dam by Egypt. So if this provides a platform, much like it did provide a platform for Russia and China to kind of like be like, okay, guys, maybe we need to stop fighting at our borders. Hopefully, this will provide a platform for Egypt and Ethiopia to communicate. I love that. So I'm glad that Egypt is within BRICS, the BRICS bloc, to maybe provide a platform for Ethiopia and Egypt to kind of not necessarily be adversaries, but find a solution to the problem that Egypt thinks the Great Renaissance Dam will bring to their country. So but yeah, it goes without saying that the rest of these countries are Arab countries and oil producing countries. These are Arab oil producing countries, maybe Egypt not so much, but again, like if you look geographically, it just like corners the northeastern part of Africa. That's what they just did right now. They just, BRICS has strategically cornered the northeastern part of Africa. That entire Mediterranean, is now maybe even run by BRICS. So that is a strong military geopolitical strategy. But more than that, it is, there's a lot. I'm not anti the Arab incursion into BRICS, if you want to call it that. But like, it's like, come on, what are we doing here? Let's be honest about what we're doing. Because obviously, this is Arab speaking, oil producing country. So it is clearly anti the petrodollar, or a move away from the petrodollar, which I love. I'm not against. BRICS is providing alternatives, so we have to move away from the petrodollar. And one of the strongest things that make America, or the American dollar, the global currency is the fact that oil is priced and sold in US dollars. So every country needs oil. Therefore, every country is going to buy and sell oil in American dollars, and that leads to every other product that you buy and sell on the international market to be sold in US dollars. So if they're gonna like kind of chop off this tree, you know, yeah, it's a big tree and you got a small axe. You got to chop it off bit by bit. And if the biggest trunk is the petrodollar, then they kind of have to kind of do that and create alternatives to the petrodollar, where China, Russia, India, South Africa, Brazil, Argentina, and Ethiopia can buy oil in other things that are not the US dollar. And that providing a strong relief. And if we can use BRICS to provide that protection, you know, that policy protection, that yes, we're allowed to, or we have created an alternative system that is, with policy protection where we can buy oil not using dollars. That's dope. That's dope. But yeah, it's just a strong, it's like, yeah, this is a strong China win. This is a strong Arab win, a strong Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates win. That's it's a coup, it's a bloodless coup over BRICS. It's like, yeah, we're clearly moving away from America and the US dollar, starting with the petrodollar, and then moving on to arms and other things. That's exactly what's happening. Kudos to the big boys doing big boy moves. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, shut up, North Korea. It's big boys doing big boy moves, man. So I can't even hate, man. I can't even hate. All I'm gonna do is see how much food I can grow and sell to China and Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, because they probably need the corn and the stuff that we're growing, and we need their oil and stuff like that. So yeah, let's do it, guys. I'll do a video which speaks specifically to the economic opportunity that exists for South African entrepreneurs in all of these BRICS countries, but focusing on the new additions because I've done a bit on the older countries. So yeah, we're definitely going to speak about that more. But this is more how it benefits the BRICS group on a geopolitical level, and yeah, on a somewhat economic level. But I'm going to go deeper into the macro and microeconomics of the business opportunities. But on a geopolitical level, this is what's happening in BRICS. This is what's going on. This is a clear, deliberate move to strengthen the alternatives that exist to the American-led Western domination of the world. But it also provides so much opportunities for us as entrepreneurs and it's just as people. 40% of the world is now under BRICS. 30% of the world economy, 40% of the world economy, 40% of the world population, and about 40% of all the world produced. So, if BRICS wants to, it can be independent of the West. That is what just happened right now. BRICS is now ultimately independent of the economic systems of the West as it relates to manufacturing, oil, technology, people, traveling, everything. Everything on almost every continent except Europe and Australia. You know what I'm saying? And we can provide all the oil, we can provide all the technology that we need, right? We can provide all the people, all the human capital, for supply and demand of goods and services. So kudos, I can't even hate. This is wonderful. But they are some underlying things that South Africa, as a small economy within the BRICS bloc, we I think the policy of BRICS is that everybody has a fair say. But yeah, we know that people can be paid to have opinions. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what this video is about. It's just saying let's be intelligent about this. Let's look beyond the hype that we had as a country in the past week and actually look at the concrete opportunities that can change our lives within this BRICS bloc, BRICS Plus bloc, So thank you for watching all the way to the end. This has been the 44th episode of Financial Independence. Retire early. My name is Still Bird. Thank you so much. Bye.